Hey traders, Raghee here. Let's get a quick audio and video check in. Good to see everyone. Happy Friday. Hope everyone's doing well. All right, so let's get to it. Welcome to another episode of Charts and Coffee. And good morning, good morning. All right, so as always, let me know what you guys would like to take a look at here. First come, first serve. A few things to keep in mind. Friday is a day that I typically take things pretty easy. So if I were to sort of lay out my week, Monday is very much watch list building and somewhat cautious, but I'm still optimistic on being fairly active on a Monday in terms of day trading. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, my three favorite trading days, day trading and also my longer term swing trades, trend following. In commodities, in ETFs and stocks. And then Friday, I'm winding things down because keep this in mind. The end of something, the end of the week, the end of the month, the end of the quarter, the end of the year, even the end of the day is a different psychology than the beginning of something. So keep that in mind. So this is the end of the week. I'm going to assess which one of my swings that I want to keep into the weekend. I want to consider which trends are starting to break. I have Coke up here for a reason. I'm not interested in this, right? Things like this. I got a lot of questions about Coke. I'm not interested in this anymore. We took a trade in it, had a nice winner, break even stop, done. So I reassess. It's really important to use Fridays in many ways to reassess things that we do and don't like, right? So what do I like? What still has good structure despite some of the volatility this week? Things like Disney. All right. What else looks still really, really good? Things like Starbucks. I'm thinking about the other names on the watch list for my Sector Secrets Mastery. So I'm going to keep those in mind. All right. So with that being said, I think the first question was for. I saw it go by, and it was Nvidia. Tony, yeah, happy to look at it. You bet. So can we take a look at Nvidia? Sure. NVDA. And so this market, I'm actually not that interested in looking at. And the reason for that, and not that there's anything wrong with the name, and not that I'm bearish in any way. However, take a look at the way in which it's been moving sideways. And this is problematic for me because not that I want to short it. I would much rather look for the long side of the market, which means this is going to be the oversold zone, right? This is going to be the oversold zone where I'm looking to build a long position. But this environment through here, where you can see double green, double green, double green, double green, that's awesome. But through here, it's starting to get yellow, And notice when the market goes yellow, right? This is where we start to get more of a sideways chop. And I'm not a big fan of sideways chops, although it has consolidated quite significantly. And it's probably, I would think, it may break out before earnings. We may get a breakout before earnings. But I would be very cautious about getting in the middle of the range and rather favor the lower end of the range for a long position. All right. But it's a non-trending market. All right. Next up, and thank you for the question. Next up is Kim asks, hey there, Kim. IIPR. Okay. Nice double green. Yep, definitely like that. I don't have a lot of breakdown on the exposure IIPR has, generally speaking. I don't have any skin in that game. I don't have any skin in Nvidia either, but don't know much about Innovative. And when I take a look at what it is trading within from an ETF standpoint, I can see why it's not necessarily influenced by passive investing. YOLO, that's hilarious. It's a heavily weighted stock in an ETF called YOLO, cannabis ETF. All right, so something like this, barring not having a really strong narrative, knowing that we do have this dividend date, this kind of movement is actually, it makes a lot of sense. I like to capitalize on those kind of pullbacks. And, overall, here's the tricky thing. I don't know how twitchy this is according to different types of news. I know that it's pulled back in the past and it's continued to move higher. So let's just work with that as the path of least resistance, because it is double green, and we'll stick with the long side of that one. Yeah, I like that one. Good looking stock. All right, can we take a look at gold? Look, gold, if you guys have been following the show for any length of time, I've been mentioning, or even my free videos where I talk about longer term trend following swing plays in commodities at Simpler Futures. I have not been a big fan of gold. I've been warning everybody that, number one, this is not a double green trend. This is not a double. Am I bullish? Yes, but it's not a trend. So I said, hey, we're going to see volatility and it's going to chop around. And are we surprised that we exhausted from this area? Not one bit. This is a choppy market, gang. So this kind of stuff is to be expected. So I'm not interested in gold right now. I am bullish, but that doesn't mean I want to get in quite yet. So bullish, but patient. All right, bullish, but patient. So if, is it at a buy zone? No. Now to your point, Kamal, this is a move in the right direction. I'm with you there. That's definitely a move in the right direction. This move lower, fantastic, right? The closer we get down to different previous support levels, the more happier I will be to think about GLD calls, for sure. Not yet. Now, having said that, let me mention that it makes a lot of sense, though, to keep an eye on commodities for trend following swings and things like silver, right? Silver looks a whole lot more interesting to me. I have an aggro entry, and then today I'm sure I'm going to start looking at moderate and conservative levels for sure. Moderate and conservative levels to get long silver. So while I know I'm going to take heat on some of the more aggro positions, that's okay. That's their function, to get some skin in the game. But keep an eye on things like silver. Keep an eye on things like copper. Right, that's definitely what I would recommend in terms of the focus right now. All right. All right. So with that being said, gold in the back burner, silver's on the front burner. And I wish copper would pull back, because if we get a pullback to the 34 EMA wave, game. I am game. All right. Next up is, let's see here. Pablo's asking about, I'm going to pick one symbol just so I can get through more questions, Pablo, but I'll grab Boeing here. Okay. Boeing. No, guys, be careful. Not that I want to be short, right? I do not want to short. So a lot of folks say, well, it's so weak, we want to short this. Negative. However, you can look at where this market might be oversold, right? But what I would also mention is look at other names within the DIA, look at other names in the ITA, and see if you can't find a relative outperformer. For those of you that might have watched the webinar that I did on Wednesday, we did a webinar, the replay is available, and you might find this discussion at the webinar of benefit, because what it does is it walks through the way that I prioritize different names in my watch list building. So this would not at the moment be where I want to focus on longs. I'd rather find something that's in a similar tide, right? A group of stocks that tend to move together, and find something that's a relative outperformer. Yeah. let's see here. Let me get down some lists here. And hang on one sec. Oh, gosh, got a lot of questions. So silver, I like. Mentioned that. So that's out of the way. Okay, talk about the new highs on YM. If you could be more specific, I'm happy to, Jordan. We have new highs. I want to be a pullback buyer across all 4 indices for sure. I don't have sell parameters that I'm even interested in right now. But as far as, you mean for profits, or if it's a loss? Well, stop loss and first profit target, Rishi. Previous support, resistance, sometimes Fibonacci, Darvas levels. Where is the point of validity? Those are the kinds of things that factor into where I would exit. So kind of, Becky, to the same thing. How do I decide when and where to get out of trades? It has to do with price movement ranges. It has to do with previous support and resistance. It has to do with major psychological levels. I'll factor those in for sure. Yeah. So thanks for the questions, Rishi and Becky. Nick, do I like Nike? Oh, gosh, yes. Of the different names in XLY, pullback buys. Gang, I talk about that a lot in this room. If we have directional bias, even tricky ones like this, it might be more difficult to sit through something like that. But please focus on those pullback buys. In a double green, they work. Or when the market is not double green, just pass until it resumes double green and wait for those pullbacks. I think the idea, and this is probably something that's a good thing just to mention here real quick, just so we have the same verbiage, right? What is swing trading, right? What is trend following? The 2 very popular terms in trading. So trend following is pretty easy. Step 1, find a trend. Step 2, and you guys know this is very much the way I look at it, wait for a sale, right? What is a sale? Wait for a pullback, right? For a retracement. That's trend following. So swing trading is very much the same thing. The word swing, and I think the word swing trading is oftentimes has a very unusual definition. The idea that it's a trade that lasts, I don't know, what's the arbitrary number of days? 2 to 3 days, or 3 to 5 days, or whatever arbitrary nonsense is assigned to how long you should hold a swing trade. Gang, you know me, I'm going to give it to you straight. It's utter nonsense. Okay? You know what swing trading is? Step 1, find a trend. Step 2, wait for a sale. In other words, think of it another way. All right? Think of it another way. Swings, in this context, are synonymous, right, with retracements. That swing in the market is a pullback. That swing in the market is a retracement. And that's all we're taking advantage of. So swing trading, while most traders, and I know it's very popular, but ditch the popular, because if popular worked, everyone would be successful trading, right? And we know they're not. So ditch those popular, ditch the dogma. Swing trading has nothing to do with the time horizon of the trade. Swing is actually very descriptive of the strategy. Take advantage of the swings, right? So that's really what I'm talking about here on Nike. This is just good old-fashioned swing trading. I want to do the same thing here pretty soon on crude. Good old-fashioned swing trading. What we just talked about on silver, right? Good old-fashioned swing trading. So think about some of this jargon we throw around and some of the nonsensical things that are oftentimes associated with it. Oracle. I love Oracle. Yeah. Pablo, I'm a big fan of. So Nick, I love pullbacks on Nike. Pablo, I'm a big fan of pullbacks on Oracle. Absolutely. I'm with you. Absolutely. Do I day trade on a Friday? I will be more conservative day trading on a Friday. So thank you for the question, Mike. I will be much more conservative day trading on a Friday. I will focus on much more conservative levels. I think a lot of traders tend to overtrade on a Friday. I will definitely keep in mind that Friday is in many ways a half day. And I say that because when the European markets close at, between 11 and 12 o'clock, when Europe and the UK close, they're not reopening tomorrow, right? Asia's not reopening tomorrow. We have the US, New York, as the last financial center for the week, basically, So I think the psychology is very different. And therefore, I will try not to over-engage a Friday. I'll be a little bit more conservative. There's nothing wrong with trading on Friday. I think you want to have much more golly, one of these days I'll sort these glasses out. First world problems, right? So you definitely want to focus on, I think, the first 2 hours, which is what I do anyways. I mean, the first 2 hours are my bread and butter for day trading anyways. So it's just that much more hypersensitive on a Friday in many ways. So thank you for the question. All right, next up, ZM. I love being ZM. Sorry. If I'm going to look at ZM, I see Z, I think beans and corn. Do I like meal? I love beans. Tommy, great question. This market's gone parabolic, as has ZS and as has ZC. So corn, beans, bean meal. This is swing 101. Yeah. But when a market's gone parabolic, it's not unusual to have to engage something more aggressive like an 8 or 13 exponential. And the 8's the one that's lit up. But this market has definitely gone parabolic. And that's based on the distance between the wave and where current price is at. And when there's a chasm ever growing between those two, I know that this market is really super accelerated. So with that being said, in terms of ZM, ZS, ZC, yeah, we definitely like these. And any insight? Yeah, buy the pullbacks. I would focus on the options if at all possible at aggressive levels like this. And then I would be much more comfortable with ZS, the underlying futures in that area. All right. Okay. So that is, and thank you for the commodities question. Excuse me. Whew. I was fighting that sneeze off for the whole show. No, it was going to come out. All right. Let's see. How do we get the multi in either one of my rooms, Robert? I make a number of indicators available free to members of my Simpler Futures room and Sector Secrets Mastery. So there's always indicators that I'm playing with or working on or share. A number of them are free, but they're free to members. Some of them need upkeep. B, this one's a little tricky because it's actual code that has to be copied and pasted. Other ones like my HPMRs, my volatility indicator, that has to be updated every week. So some of these we put in the room. So thank you for your question. All right. Pot stock. Oh, IPR that we talked about yesterday. Yeah, let me touch on this. Not for your loss. Oh gosh, I mean that's no fun. But think about where you're getting in from, right? So if you're thinking about what I just discussed, actually, this is a great follow-up to that swing discussion, right? If you're swing trading IPR, you're not getting in until candles like this one and this one and that one, right? What you're not doing is getting in here and here and here. Don't get in at the highs, gang. Wait for some kind of pullback. I'm telling you right now, that's going to be, and I know it's tougher, right? But what's a better entry? Buying at a high here or waiting for something like this? And this is what I'm advocating when I'm explaining what truly swing trading is to me, right? Clearly, I can't speak for everybody, but yeah, that's how I want to focus on that. Okay. Next up is I don't concur. Oh, yeah, I'm not going to call Atomic. Yeah, I'm not going to call anybody out, but no, I don't agree. No, I don't. I don't know. Everyone's got a different approach, right? That's all. Let's see what else we have here. Etsy. I like to pull back on Etsy. Absolutely, I do like to pull back on Etsy. So some folks might ask, and we just had a set up in Sector Secrets where my trader said, "Hey, Rag, it's gone yellow on the structure of the market, right? We've kind of gone yellow in here. Are we allowed to buy it?" Yes, because the preceding trend, the trend that was very much a la, gotta give credit where credit is due, a la Dow theory is something that Charles Dow talked about, right? Yes, that's what we want to focus on, gang. The fact that the trend that preceded this stall, this pause, was up, and that the likely path of least resistance is still up. Okay. All right. I'm going to take one more question, and then I got to wrap it up, gang. And I want to touch on this one because I'm loving the idea of continuing to swing trade copper. But a lot of traders who are not futures traders might say, "Rog, I don't trade futures." What I would tell you to do, my friend, is Freeport-McMoRan. Freeport-McMoRan. JJC and CPR, if you're buying the underlying ETF, is fine. But if you're trying to go with the options, they're insanely illiquid, if flat out not available. Freeport-McMoRan will give you options. Freeport-McMoRan tracks with copper, and it just broke the 20 threshold. And I think that that's going to be a fantastic place to look for opportunity. Okay. All right, gang. So I'm going to wrap it up here. Time to head on over to the day job. I'll see you all in the Simpler Futures and in the Sector Secrets Mastery Room later on today. Have a fantastic weekend. Well, first of all, have a great day of trading. Don't overdo it on a Friday. I kind of have a saying. I got to be funny in my room and say Friday hates traders, and sometimes it does. So don't overdo it. I will talk with you all soon. Be good to each other, gang. I'll see you on Monday.